Hey there guys, what's going on? In today's best class setups in Warzone video, we're taking another look at the class setup designed around the current highest overall damage per second in Warzone, the AUG with the 5.56 rounds. Now, I know we've done a video on this before and it did quite well, but I feel like after playing Warzone more frequently with the lockdowns, can't go outside and all that, I've actually been learning, which is wild, I do know, but we've actually got some new insights to making our Warzone class setups the best that they can be, and I think this class setup is even better than the one we did before. Again, we've got a couple of weapons here, the best perks, lethal, and tactical options. With the latest patch, if you manage to work your way to $10,000 and get a loadout drop, you can equip one of your preset loadouts, which if you are dropping in on a scavenger contract, really does not take too long to get. Plus, you get some nice weapons as well. With this overpowered class that I've put together, you'll be able to dominate in the Warzone. We'll keep the Warzone content coming as long as you guys do want to watch it, but just before we do get into this overpowered AUG class setup here, let's try and get this video to 25 likes. I know this is a hefty like goal, but I think we can do it. The support on the videos from you guys has continued to be absolutely excellent recently, so a big thank you to everyone for liking, subscribing, and commenting on all of the videos. I've got loads of new stuff lined up for while you're stuck inside with the quarantine, so make sure you do subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. We very recently hit 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, so I guess we're on the road towards 1,100 now. That's just absolutely wild, so thank you again. So let's talk about this AUG class. So for you lads who are just after the attachments on the AUG here, I'll drop the setup here. Here we do have the monolithic suppressor, the 407mm extended barrel, the commando foregrip, the 5.56 NATO 60 round drum mags, and the stippled grip tape, of course. This combination of attachments really does set us up to do the highest DPS in Warzone. We've got a great combination of damage, effectiveness at range, mobility, and accuracy. You are able to shred people at pretty much any range, but especially those medium range fights. You'll definitely have to be quite aggressive with this setup though. Without a scope or anything like that, you'll need to get closer to your enemies than you're probably used to. But playing aggressively in Warzone is really fun. If you are dipping out of the video at this stage, I do appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. But for the rest of you, we'll start with our secondary perks and grenade choices here, because there's been a little bit of shifting recently with what some of the people are using in Warzone. Our secondary is actually the RPG. Now, if you've actually never used the RPG in Warzone before, I'm sure you've been killed by it. This rocket launcher is still one of the best weapons in the game. They probably didn't anticipate that it would be as powerful as it is on launch, but it was part of the ground loot. Basically, one rocket will crack someone's armor and the second one will down them pretty much every time. This is equally effective in solos as it is in larger game modes, plus the RPG is really effective at taking out enemy vehicles, which are super overpowered at the moment and banned in solos, especially the cargo truck is the one that's banned in solos. Check this video for the power level of the cargo truck. It's really dumb. This really does fit our aggressive playstyle, and people really won't push you if they know you've got an RPG. In the perk 1 slot, every single person in the game is basically running cold-blooded. I mean, it's really the best option for the state of the meta at the moment, with thermal snipers being literally everywhere. You pretty much need this. EUD is also another good option to help counter the RPG spam, but again, it's probably not really worth taking over cold-blooded. There probably needs to be some buffs to some of the perks in this game to make them actually usable. Like, sometimes you just would never really use scavenger or quick fix, or kill chain. Like, these perks are all terrible and would really never be a legitimate option to cold-blooded unless they do get changed. Perk 2, we do have Ghost here by standard. This is really important for staying off those UAVs and heartbeat sensors. I can't count how many times I've been able to pinpoint people who aren't running Ghost, and it's actually pretty outrageous. You'll just whip out your heartbeat sensor and basically find them straight away. That being said, you can also pull off a neat trick in Warzone. If you do manage to purchase or find 2 loadout drops in one game, you can equip a loadout drop with overkill on, so you can grab your 2 favorite primaries. Usually this would be some kind of mobile weapon like an AUG or an MP7 or an assault rifle, and then also some kind of sniper with a thermal scope. While you're in this overkill class, you'll be a little bit more vulnerable to UAVs and heartbeat sensors, but your goal should then be to try and find another loadout drop and then equip a class with Ghost. Once you choose the new class with Ghost, you'll drop your weapons on the ground, you can pick them up straight away, letting you have both Ghost and Overkill on in the same class at the same time. Perk 3, we do have Tracker, because being able to see those enemy footsteps can sometimes be really powerful. Especially if you chase someone into a building with many rooms, you'll be able to see exactly where they've gone and which corner they're hiding in. This can prevent some deaths to sprinting after someone and having no idea where they've gone in the room you're about to follow them into. In the lethal slot, we've gone with the C4 because they can basically blow up a cargo truck in 1 or 2 bricks. Cargo trucks are probably the strongest thing in Warzone at the moment, so if your party has loads of RPGs or C4, trucks really won't want to come near you. I know trucks are banned in solo Warzone, but C4s are still a good option for taking down enemies as well. And the tactical is, as we already mentioned, the heartbeat sensor for being able to pick off those people who aren't wearing Ghost, the bloody noobs. So now we're going to talk about the attachments that we do have on the AUG, and the first one is the monolithic suppressor in the muzzle slot. With this, we get sound suppression and damage range. We do lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness, but we can make up for that with other attachments, so it's not too big of a deal. The sound suppression makes it a little bit harder for enemies to track you down while you're shooting, and the extended range is super strong for taking out targets that are slightly further away. This is a really great option for pretty much every single weapon in Warzone, and I recommend that you do take it if possible on any class that does fit in Warzone. Typically, the monolithic suppressor is about a 7 to 10% range increase, so it's definitely worth taking. So of course, in the muzzle slot, we've got the monolithic suppressor, and that's our first attachment for this Overpowered AUG class setup. Next, in the barrel slot, we've got a couple of options here that do very similar things. You can choose between the 407mm extended barrel and the 622mm long barrel. Both of these do give us a huge boost to our damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control while reducing our aim down sight speed, and in the case of the long barrel, the movement speed. With the map being much larger than anything available in multiplayer, we do want as much damage range as possible. Sometimes you'll be hitting those shots at about 50+ meters sometimes, so getting that extra damage range at maximum range is really important. The difference between these two barrels is mobility versus range. The long barrel is way more focused on being effective at range. It does make you a fair bit slower than the extended barrel, while the 407 extended barrel is also more effective at being mobile while still being pretty decent at range. These are the two most powerful barrel options for the AUG. On my class, I'm rocking the extended barrel for the increased mobility. It's definitely noticeable when you do compare these two side by side. The long barrel definitely does feel more sluggish, and that's why we've chosen the extended barrel as the second attachment in this AUG class setup. Next, we've somehow still got an underrated attachment in this game. In the underbarrel slot, we do have the Commando foregrip. With this, we do get recoil stabilization and aiming stability. These stats help us with the horizontal recoil of the AUG and help make us very accurate. Similar to the recoil control bonuses that we do get from the extended barrel, this does help us fight at longer ranges and will help us pick off targets that aren't far enough away to warrant pulling out our sniper if we've taken one from our second loadout drop. There's not really much else to say here about this attachment. Like, it does help us stay on target way more effectively, and it's still somehow underrated in this game. You can put this on pretty much any weapon and you'll already perform way better, especially if the weapon is heavy on the horizontal recoil side, which the AUG does have a little bit of. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit horizontal recoil, so this does help. So again, in the underbarrel slot, we've got the Commando foregrip, and that's the third attachment for this AUG class. Next, in the ammo slot, we do have the granddaddy of attachments in Warzone at the moment. We got the 5.56 NATO 60 round drum mags. With this, we do get a huge boost to our damage and our range, plus we get 60 bullets to spray down range, which in Warzone is super strong. People can take between 8 to 11 shots sometimes, depending on the weapon you've got to kill. So sometimes, if you do come across more than one enemy with 30 bullets, you're in a little bit of trouble sometimes if you are forced to reload. While you're reloading, they can pretty much just push on you straight away, and you'll be sent straight back to the gulag, and nobody wants that really. Plus, we don't really care too much about the negative speed aspects of this attachment. I'll say this here too, just in case anybody does ask. The 5.56 NATO 30 round mags are also a viable option. You just have to reload more often, and it does make you more mobile without reducing your aim down sight speed and so on. It is a really simple choice here, and that's why we've included the 5.56 NATO 60 round drum mags in this AUG class setup. As I was editing this, I did realize I made a little bit of a mistake here and didn't include this in my discussion. Basically, if you are playing solo and you focus on game modes with less people in them or less large groups, basically you'll want to be running the 30 round mags instead. If there's not as many people to kill in one squad, you definitely don't need the full 60 rounds. Whereas if you are playing squads like trios, squads and stuff like that, just in case people still keep coming at you after you take down one person, you might need those extra bullets just to finish the rest of them off. This is again a pretty simple choice. Basically, if you are playing solos, I recommend the 30 round mags. And if you're playing in squads or trios, maybe take the 60 round mags. And lastly, we've got the ever reliable rear grip slot. Here we've got, of course, the stippled grip tape. With this, we do get aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. After a bunch of attachments that do reduce our handling and mobility, we need to get some of it back. It's pretty important that we're not just the slowest man in the universe. This attachment does make us more mobile and allows us to really be still competitive at closer range fights. Most of the fights in Warzone do occur at medium range, so you've got a little bit of extra time than usual to pull up those sights. It's still not going to be as snappy as something like you would find in multiplayer, where we take every aim down sight speed increase in sight, but with this, we've still got better handling. So of course, in the rear grip slot, we've got the stipple grip tape, and that rounds out our full class setup here. So again, here is the full class setup here with all of the attachments that we've chosen. These combined do help make the AUG one of, if not the best gun in Warzone at the moment. With this, we do get an excellent combination of damage, effectiveness at range, decent mobility from the SMG class, and decent handling from the stipple grip tape. This is the greatest of all time attachment in Warzone for sure. We are able to spray people down for a significant amount of time, and in a single clip, you can definitely take down whole squads if you are placing those shots in the right spot. Going for those headshots is really effective with the AUG. I'm thinking we might end up getting some separate balance changes just for Warzone soon to try and improve some of the perks or some weapons, make them better or worse, but I'm sure we'll see that soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, guys. Another one of these longer class setup videos, but I feel like it's good to get more of these out and sort of spread around some of the Warzone class setup love. If you guys did enjoy this one, make sure you do let me know by leaving a like and subscribing if you are new around here, of course, so you don't miss out on any of these class setups. We are, of course, working our way to 1,100 subscribers now, which is absolutely wild to me, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!